check out this beautiful New Zealand cordyline. Ouch! What are you doing sticking me, buddy? Hey, it's me, Ciscoe Morris. Here's what's coming up on Gardening with Ciscoe. Tour the world's gardens. Visit a tropical garden on the island of Moorea. Then check out a Canadian garden that has a lot in common with Chile. Plus, we'll show you how you could travel to Japan and New Zealand without even leaving Seattle. All this is coming up right now on Gardening with Ciscoe. Hi, I'm Ciscoe Morris.
And I'm Meeghan Black. Welcome to Gardening with Ciscoe. Today from the Washington Park Arboretum. We are going to have such a fabulous time because they have opened a brand new garden that is going to take you to another part of the world.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Woo.
You know, I've been there, and this garden makes you feel like you're in New Zealand when you're in it.
Isn't it nice and warm in New Zealand?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a
another
slight
story.
problem, I have to admit. But I'll tell you, it's so inspiring. It's made us decide to take people all over the world to see great botanical gardens.
And our first stop, French Polynesia. I remember it well. We got to visit the tropical garden in Moorea. Have you ever seen a garden with a view like this? The Moorea Tropical Garden has been blooming on this hill overlooking Opanahu Bay for the past 5 years, growing exotic flowers and the second most expensive spice in the world, Tahitian vanilla. Garden owner Luana Mahu loves to show off her vanilla to curious guests. And yes, it's all organic.
Eh bien, parce que
the question of choosing organic products was not a question at all, because Tahitian people, they do organic from the ancient times to nowadays.
Of course, we usually find this flavoring on the supermarket shelf, but it actually starts out as an orchid. It flowers for just 1 day and must be hand-pollinated to make a bean. Tell me about the vanilla and how special is vanilla?
alors déjà sa fleur, elle est très belle.
So vanilla is so special to Luana because first she loves the flower. It's a beautiful flower. It's from the family of the Orchidae family, and one flower gives one bee.
Anyone is invited to visit Luana's garden to see what real vanilla looks like. And you'll be pleasantly surprised because vanilla isn't the only wonderfully tropical thing here. This is tiare, the national flower of French Polynesia. As Luana shows me around, it's obvious she's got the South Seas version of a green thumb. I just wish I had giant clamshells and a coconut husk for my border. Visitors can buy homemade jam and, of course, vanilla beans. And they all bring home an appreciation for the fertile beauty of Moorea Island.
Eh ben,
So I love the land, the Finwa, we say in Tahitian, Finwa, the land. I always look after my grandparents who show me the way, and that's why I decided to realize this dream.
I have to admit, as we're heading into fall and the rain's coming down, I do so want to go back to Moorea Island. Oh, it's just heaven.
Well, I can't help you with that, but I can take you to springtime in Japan.
Okay, let's
That's
go.
because our photographer, Mike Hayes, went to the Japanese garden here in the Arboretum and filmed it in springtime.
It's such a perfect day that you can't think of a better place to be on a day like today. It's that time of year when you can see the sequence of things starting to happen. So you can see buds starting to come out. This time of year, the flowers get your attention. And the nice thing about here is it gives you a sense of how everything has to work together. These gardens are meant for contemplation, and that's why it's nice to be able to be here today, because you can appreciate it for how they're meant to be. You know, and it really does. You come in and all of a sudden you can feel it happening. It's an interesting thing. It also makes you appreciate those ducks over there who are continually straight upside down. This mallard looks like on a screen painting. It's also a great garden because if you look at Japanese art, it really captures it so nicely. It's all very subtle and in keeping with the feeling of the gardens. It's a nice thing to say about the weather in Seattle, which can be frustrating, but it is really ideally suited to what a lot of these plants like. And then knowing that over the next few weeks, it's going to continue to evolve. So you could come every 2 days and it'd be like a different park. I think that's the thing that's so nice about it, is how it keeps changing. This is wonderful.
That beautiful Japanese garden has been here since 1960. It is open from April through October. Welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe from the Washington Park Arboretum, where we are going to be visiting the brand new Pacific Connections Garden. You know, when it's all said and done, it'll be the only place in Seattle where you can go from China to New Zealand in a single day.
But I've got a great way to get to Chile.
Okay.
Via Vancouver Island. Oh la la. There is a place there where all the plants they grow are from South America.
Nice.
The Tofino Botanical Garden is the place to visit. It's like going to two worlds at the same time. Oh la la, I'm in a different country. Actually, it feels like I'm in a different world. I'm in Tofino, British Columbia. The climate is totally unique here. You know, it's almost the same as San Diego, just a little cooler. So it's a tropical paradise with giant gunneras growing like weeds. At the same time, it's a rainforest, so you see giant old-growth cedar just covered with moss. We're going to show you an incredible botanical garden that has the best of both. The Tofino Botanical Garden is a blend of serious and silly. I recently toured it with owner George Patterson, and the first thing he told me was to watch out for wild animals. No, Griffin isn't one of them.
But he's actually a very fierce dog when bears come on the property. So he does...
And do you have bears come on the property?
We do. In fact, we have a sign coming into the garden that people need to be aware that the garden is visited regularly by bears, wolves, and cougars.
Wow!
So we think we're the only botanical garden in the world that needs to have that warning sign out.
Well, I hope we see one.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
We do see a black bear later, about a quarter of a mile down the road. I can see why George wants to keep him out of the garden. Here's the tamest part of the wild garden, an organic kitchen garden. They've got all kinds of herbs and veggies, but one thing's missing.
We don't have tomatoes because you can't grow tomatoes in Tofino.
Oh, not hot enough?
It just doesn't get warm enough.
Oh,
exactly.
La, la. Sculpture is everywhere. A lot of it looks like it was left here by some ancient tribe. Some of it looks like it slithered in from the forest.
I think the sculpture is as important to the garden as any of the plants or pathways or structures.
George says kids always get this one, while grown-ups fearfully yank their kids away from the water's edge. I know you've got cougars, wolves, and bears here, but alligators? Oh, la la!
Well, nobody's been able to prove that there's not an alligator in the ponds. We felt it was important to warn people.
Let's get out of this area.
Yeah.
Let's go see something else.
So, Ciscoe, we're coming into an area here that's planted up with plants that are native to southern Chile.
Now, why did you decide to plant southern Chile plants at Tofino?
Well, the climate in southern Chile and the conditions are almost identical.
Want proof? Look at this gunnera. It's native to Chile. It also grows like a weed here in Tofino. This Chilean tree called an alerce is very similar to our western red cedar.
Really?
George built this part of the garden to help people see that endangered temperate rainforests aren't just in exotic places like South America. They're also right in our own backyard. But just as I think the garden's getting serious on me, around the next corner I get another chuckle. What is all this right here?
This was an archaeological dig that was going on that was hastily abandoned. And rumors are that actually a Sasquatch came and was offended by the people digging up skulls of its ancestors and chase them away.
Oh la la! George has a zonal denial section complete with bananas and palms, as well as a homestead garden. But much of the magic of this garden comes from just letting things be. So George, what is this area here?
We call this the skunk cabbage walk.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, this really is one of my favorite places in the garden, in that it's intact old growth forest. We've brought the boardwalk through, which is, I think, the least intrusive way to get people into the area to see this. And it's one of the most peaceful places in Tofino.
There's more than just a beautiful garden here, isn't there?
Well, I hope so. You know, the idea of the garden is to try to give people an introduction to both the cultural and natural history of the area. You know, for me, the real pleasure in the garden is showing people around it and sharing it and hopefully having them appreciate it or start to understand it. So thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you so much. It's an incredible garden. I feel like I've had a profound experience here today.
Wow, that's terrific. If everybody can have a little bit of a transformational experience here, my job will have been done.
Okay, so this garden isn't polished like Butchart or something, but I love the living tweedle out of it. It was just so fun. And they have an eco lodge, so you can explore all of Tofino, use it for a home base.
Kind of stay there and move out. But you know what? You don't even have to go there to see some of those plants native to Chile. They have them at the Pacific Connections Garden, like the gunnera, the monkey puzzle tree. Absolutely fantastic. I'm feeling exotic already.
Welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe from the Arboretum, where we are touring the world. But right now we're going to stay a little closer to home.
Yeah, really close, like in the kitchen. And I got to tell you, we have a recipe that is going to make your kitchen smell so fabulous you won't want to leave it. I don't know about you, I think it's time for dessert. Why not just cut to the chase, shall
Got
we?
a little sweet tooth there?
Yeah, no kidding. We're looking at this stuff. What are we whipping up today?
So cozy, you know, it's warm weather, and the pears are in the market. So we're going to do some pear, cranberry, and crystallized gingerbread pudding.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I love it too.
Okay, so
All
what do
right.
we need to start
so
with?
the classic, you know, bread pudding base is eggs and milk, all right?
Okay.
So 3 eggs and a couple of cups of milk. And then, you know, there's all different kinds of ways you can sweeten this. A lot of people just use granulated sugar. I like to make it a little cozier and a little richer. So I like to put in some maple syrup.
Okay, love that. Good flavor to it.
You'll notice I'm not going to put it in. I'm going to make her do it.
Yeah. But I want to know what this stuff is.
Okay, so this is raw cane sugar,
Really?
which smells like molasses. I absolutely love it. Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
It does.
So go ahead and put it in there.
Molasses. Okay, I haven't got my eggs done yet. I'm yakking. Okay. It's powdery.
She's such a perfectionist.
I
It's
know.
kind of like brown sugar. You know what I mean? It's got the same sort of consistency. And you see that it makes the batter a little bit dark.
I like that.
So yeah, so for a delicate dessert, you might not want to do that, but for something with all the spices and everything, anyway. So let me
Okay.
let me go for it. So a
vanilla.
little vanilla,
And
that's
cinnamon?
cinnamon and a little nutmeg as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
And then some salt. So you know, classically with bread pudding in the summertime, if I make it with plums and stuff, I don't add the cinnamon. But in the fall with the apples or the pears. Or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks great. So now we've got some nice rustic bread that I've cut into cubes.
Okay.
This is wild wheat ciabatta. So now we're going to add a little garnish to this. So we want to
Okay.
get that in there first. So some finely chopped pears.
Okay, nice and diced.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like huge chunks in this.
No.
I like a little more delicate chunks. And then dried cranberries. And some crystallized ginger. All the flavors of fall.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep. Okay, and now...
Now I get to dump.
Now you get to dump. All done.
Or you'll
for
dump.
you.
She took the fun part away.
I'm sorry.
I
You
do all
get
the
to
work, and then you get to the fun.
Here, you can
Do I just stir with this?
Yeah, just tuck it together.
Okay.
So now what you can do is you can go ahead and transfer this to your bowl, but it's nice to let it maybe sit
Sit a little bit?
Yeah,
Sure.
for 20 minutes or so.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So a little tart pan there. You can use a pie pan or a square casserole dish, whichever
Whatever
you
you
prefer.
got,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Well, as long as it's oven proof, that's fine. So then just kind of pat that down so the bread is pretty much all
soaking
is all sort of submerged in there.
Oh my gosh.
All right, and then I'm going to show you this. So you take your pear, I've cut it in half, and I'm going to cut it.
Okay.
Cut it in quarters lengthwise, and then kind of turn it on its side and take the core out like that. And then I just cut it into kind of thin slices at just a slight little diagonal.
Okay.
I'm using a star crimson pear because I love the color
color is
contrast, but
so
anything
beautiful.
you like is fine.
Oh,
and
look
then
at that.
I just kind of do it right down the center. And then the key is to really submerge that down in there as well. You don't have to completely drown it, but just sort of pile your mixture up around it. Yep, so it kind of becomes part of it. And then, and then you can sprinkle it with a little demerara sugar if you like, or whatever you like, and then that goes in the oven. So shall we do that?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Okay, so I actually made one a little bit ahead of time so we'd have an opportunity to taste it. And you can see how pretty the pear looks down there. Okay, so I want to show you this amazing sauce that I made for it. Okay. So what this is almost like kind of a British hard sauce.
Really?
It's whiskey and lemon juice and some eggs and butter all cooked together. Now you can make it without the whiskey, but why would you? Yeah. Anyway, so once the bread pudding cools a little bit, we'll drizzle it with this and
have at it.
we'll celebrate the season. Okay. This is the best part.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, so I put a little fresh pear on there, for contrast.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Make it pretty.
Yep, absolutely. And I think I might have to join you here. That was the smallest amount of sauce I've ever put on.
Oh, yes, you're showing us how dainty you are.
Yes. We'll have more later.
Oh, my
right,
goodness. Okay. Oh. The proof is in the pudding. Aren't I good?
Boom, boom.
That. Oh my gosh.
fun.
I just want to drink that. Oh, this is good. Oh, I'm thinking brunch. I'm thinking dessert. I'm thinking you name it.
You're thinking.
I'm thinking all about this bread pudding. Believe it or not, that recipe actually works best with old, stale, dry bread.
Oh, too great. I left a baguette out on the counter. Bread pudding, here I come.
You're going to invite me over, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Welcome back to Gardening with Ciscoe. I'm cruising around looking at all this beautiful fall color here at the Arboretum, while my buddy Ciscoe, he's off to New Zealand. He's looking into the Arboretum's latest edition.
The New Zealand forest at the Arboretum opened in September. It's 2.5 acres with 10,000 plants, all designed to take you on a trip down under. Hey, I'm here with Ray Larson, curator of the Arboretum, and my buddy.
That's right, yes.
Hey, take me down under. Show me this great New Zealand garden you got here.
Welcome to New Zealand, specifically the Southern Island.
Oh, cool.
And where the habitat is most closely related to ours in the Northwest.
All right.
So here we have a relative of the New Zealand flax we all know. This is a hardier version called a mountain flax.
Oh, really?
So it should do better in our winters than some of the other ones.
You know what I've noticed? Hummingbirds love these flowers when they're fresh.
And they reliably flower too, so that's good
that's
news.
pretty
And they
cool.
stay shorter than a New Zealand flax,
Yeah.
so that's also nice.
Pretty neat. What else you got? So this is a newly planted forest, but those are some pretty honking trees you got in there.
Those were transplanted from elsewhere in the Arboretum. They're wild collected from New Zealand 20 years ago. So in 20 years, the forest here will look more like that. Right now, everything's small, but there we've got a silver beech and a mountain beech.
So I love these carokias, Ray, but I've lost so many of these.
Yeah, in our coldest winters, they've maybe been a little touchy, but all our plants here are collected from higher elevation areas of New Zealand, so they should be hardier than most of what you're going to see in the nursery. And we hope that if that proves true, then we can get them out into the nursery trade.
Oh, man, finally I'll be able to get a carokia that'll survive in my backyard. Oh, la
Yeah,
la.
well, even though they kind of look dead anyway, that's just kind of how they're supposed to look. And they do have nice yellow flowers. So.
The Arboretum is doing it again. Yahoo! Oh, I'm so jet-lagged.
You look like it.
Oh, la la. Well, let me tell you, that New Zealand garden has great ideas if you've got a sunny spot with well-drained soil. I can't wait to watch it mature. It's going to be so beautiful.
And the best part, a walk through the Arboretum and a visit to the New Zealand garden, it's all free.
Hey, you can't beat that,
you can't.
can you? Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Now, visit one of the gardens we showed you today, and you'll visit the world.
Especially the one in French Polynesia, huh? Thanks for watching, everybody.
I got to show you something over
Okay.
here. Really
what
cool.
was your favorite?